Yeah, and it seems like I have like a disclaimer or like a preface, like everything I'm saying here. So here's the other one is back to Carol Sanford, another one of these elders in working regeneratively. And she makes this distinction between capacity and capability. And so you might even just intuitively have a sense of like capacity being like how much can I hold in a thing or how much can I bear? And then capability is like, well, what can I do? And so both are important, both are needed. When we talk about skills, I think more along the lines of capabilities then. And a capability that I'm going to point out here, I'm going to go out on a limb. There's so many, but one that I'll go on a limb with is a regenerative capability known as imaging. And this isn't imagining, this is imaging. So picture the sprouting of a flower from seed to full bloom. That's like if you picture that in your mind, the process of it going through, and the more vivid you can see it, you're seeing this developmental process. Part of the work of working regeneratively, and if you're a landscape leader, is seeing things always on an unfolding way. Nothing's fixed and static. If you talk about a problem, it's stuck and frozen in the way that you're framing it. Everything is constantly changing and unfolding. Therefore, to develop the kind of way of seeing through something that you're experiencing. So I'm looking at like what's happening at Leo's, and I start to image through and it's a kind of unfoldment of like, okay, here's where we're at, and here's where I feel like we're going, and then what do I start to see as I do that? It's a way to start to get an eye on potential, and I don't know how to talk about it as being different from just imagining or making something up because you actually feel it. It's like it's almost like a discursive process if you're familiar with that term, where you're just sort of seeing this and then in your mind. And that's been so helpful for me to see a situation and kind of like, well, where might this go? Well, when I do this imaging process, it doesn't mean that's where it's going to go for sure, but I can see almost like a uh, quasi logical way of where we could go based on what I'm seeing. And it's a kind of skill that we all have. Um, it just takes a level of being comfortable with yourself to try it, and it does take some practice.